Two. 2, 3. Good evening.
Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing. Mic check 1, 2. Testing. Microphone check.
Yes.
Testing, testing, testing.
It's Tuesday, December 1, and it is a great day.
Testing 1, 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience and welcome to the Jamaica AIDS Support for Life virtual candlelight vigil. We welcome those who are physically with us and those who are also joining us online. I'm Delia Harris.
And I'm Dara Smith.
And we will be your MCs for the evening. But before we begin, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to stand for the national anthem.
Keep us free from evil powers. Be your light through countless hours. To our leaders, great defender, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we love. Teach us true respect for all. Stir response to duty's call. Strengthen us the weak to cherish. Give us vision lest we perish. Knowledge send us, Heavenly Father. Grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we love.
Thank you. You may be seated.
It's now 17 years that I've been doing the candlelight vigil for Jamaica AIDS Support for Life. Yeah, I started off in 2004 with Sheila. Hi, Dane. And I mean, it's so different. COVID has changed everything for us because I'm used to being in the hall with everybody. And, you know, we are just using this moment just to celebrate life, to celebrate where we are right now, but we are here. And it has been 32 years since we began the observance of World AIDS Day. At that time, HIV was seen as a death sentence all over the world, but even more so in our little corner. Now, as we come together to commemorate the loss of our family, friends, and loved ones, we are also pausing to celebrate that we have come a far way in this journey. We are seeing less crying, less grieving, as the advancement in antiretroviral therapy has given us more time with each other, more time to celebrate, our collective achievements as we look forward for the continued advancement and medical breakthrough that will eventually end the HIV epidemic.
Wonderful words. I won't say when I started the vigil because then I'll age myself, right, Gervais? Our past determines our present, and our present shapes our future. Jamaica AIDS support will always be synonymous with love, action, and support. As reflected in the quote in these words, our guiding mantra is shaped by the love and support of a few friends who helped another in need. Today, we reflect on our past, our current gains that will guide us in the future. As always, we take this opportunity to reaffirm our dedication to the task of providing much-needed support to all the lives we touch and those who have touched us. And so we start this evening with the official welcome and opening remarks by the chairman of the board of Jamaica AIDS Support Limited, Canon Garth Minot, and that's being done on a recording. So ladies and gentlemen, please focus your attentions to the screen.
Candlelight Vigils. The Jamaica AIDS Support for Life welcomes you, and we look forward to sharing this time of celebration, recall, evening, and welcome to another of our Candlelight Vigils. The Jamaica AIDS Support for Life welcomes you, and we look forward to sharing this time of
Technology,
celebration.
whatever can go wrong, will.
And so as we wait for that, this evening we're also going to be hearing from some of our partners here in Jamaica. And that's very important in terms of the success of Jamaica AIDS Support, the partnerships that they have, not just with organizations, but with community members and just individuals, you know, as we continue to share global responsibility in this fight against HIV. So we're going to be hearing a lot about that. And I'm also looking forward to the highlights of 2020. I love it. 2020 now done pa empty. Yes, so our executive director, Candace Livermore, is going to be sharing those highlights with us as well a little bit later on. So we look forward to that. Again, we want to welcome the folks who are joining us online. A little bit later on, we're going to be doing our candle lighting, and we're inviting everybody to participate, right, Dara? So if you
Definitely.
don't have your candle right now, please, wherever you are, get the candles ready, because a little bit later on, we're going to be inviting you to participate with us. But now, we're going to, once again, join that video with the Canon Garth Minot, chairman of the board.
Good evening and welcome to another of our Candlelight Vigils. The Jamaica AIDS Support for Life welcomes you, and we look forward to sharing this time of celebration, recall, and memorializing of those who have left us. This is a dramatic year. COVID-19 is still with us. Yet the theme for the observation of World AIDS Day this year, global solidarity and shared responsibility, places before us a unique opportunity as an organization and as a community. And I like the fact that in explaining the theme for World AIDS Day this year, the United Nations says, in many respects, the defeat of AIDS as a public health threat depends to a large extent on how the world responds to the global crisis now upon us of COVID-19. Responding to AIDS in a new way requires the world to come together to ensure that healthcare systems are strengthened and workers are protected. The solidarity of which the United Nations speaks is vital for the respect of human rights and dignity, especially for those living with or affected by HIV and AIDS and other lifestyle diseases. Respect requires strategy focused on equality for all, regardless of differences. It is no secret that sexual and gender-based violence, stigma and discrimination, and access to health care and protection still continue to be a challenge for us. During a pandemic of this kind, HIV and COVID-19, most vulnerable persons, including women and girls and those living with HIV and AIDS, forced into a lockdown at home means that they are forced to live with their abusers. This puts them and others at greater risk. So, what is our shared responsibility? During the health crises of HIV and AIDS and COVID-19, the call, the opportunity, and the challenge is for us to provide care and protection for those who are most vulnerable among us. So, my friends, on this World AIDS Day 2020, as we remember men and women, boys and girls who are living with HIV and AIDS, and now with COVID-19, we should remind ourselves of our shared responsibility as members of the community of justice to fight against discrimination of any form, to stand against violence and the increased vulnerability of those who are at risk of HIV infection. Let us then, in global solidarity and shared responsibility, contribute to making the world a healthier, a place where people can live, and as we say in the Jamaican 2030 vision, a place where people can live, work, raise family, and do business. I hope then that you will have a wonderful evening. Enjoy what the staff at JASL and the board have to offer. Look forward to your time together. May you have a blessed and holy season and a prosperous new year 2021. God bless. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you very much. That was Canon Garth Minot, chairman of the board of the Jamaica AIDS Support for Life. And it's amazing that in 2020, we're still having this issue of stigma and discrimination, of access to health care. I thought those were issues of the past. I thought, those issues were 20 years ago. I can't believe we're back to that stage, David.
Absolutely. But I tell you something. I said to someone today, I really have to be proud of Jamaica, because there are places around the world that have not been able to do the things that we have done. And that's really come through solidarity with all the NGOs, Jamaica AIDS Support being one of the front runners, And so we have to, I believe persons living with HIV should feel hopeful that they're in Jamaica and they're in a place where people are here to support you, to show you love, to help you to get care, and hear the word, and to live. Place of choice, to live, to live. Thank you very much, Canon, for reminding us of those things. As we look forward to the journey ahead, we invite our partners who have been with us every step of the way, both in their personal capacities and through the organizations they represent. And so now we're going to hear 2 recordings, and they're going to come in this order. The first will come from Mrs. Emanuela Manova. She's country director, UNAIDS Jamaica office, and then that will be followed by Mr. Jason Fraser, country representative, USAID Jamaica.
I am Manuela Manuva, UNAIDS Country Director for Jamaica. One of the things we would have learned this year is that we need each other. While the coronavirus requires us physically being apart, it brought the entire world together, supporting each other however best we could. Similarly, we all need to stand in support of people living with and affected by HIV. In Jamaica, there are over 32,000 people living with HIV, and we should all care enough about what is being done to ensure they are afforded a normal life. We have come a far way with HIV treatment, but we still have some way to go with stigma and discrimination. I dare you to encourage healthcare workers, police officers, and policy makers to do more for people living with HIV. I dare you to do more to show your solidarity with people living with HIV. Those who have lost due to AIDS-related deaths, they will forever be remembered. We'll continue this great work in honor of each one of them. We will ensure in everything we do there is love, action, and support, knowing that this fight requires global solidarity and shared responsibility.
Hello everybody, this is Jason Fraser, the country representative for USAID Jamaica. In Jamaica each year, it is estimated that approximately 1,400 people are diagnosed with HIV. Despite scientific advances in the treatment of HIV, people still do not know the facts about how to protect themselves and others, and stigma and discrimination remain a reality for many people living with HIV. Today, as we commemorate World AIDS Day, let us take this opportunity to unite our collective messaging around controlling the HIV epidemic, supporting and empowering people living with HIV, and honoring and keeping alive the memory of those who have lost their lives as a result of the virus. The U.S. government's theme for World AIDS Day 2020 is Ending the HIV Epidemic, Resilience and Impact, which focuses on our commitment to quality, client-centered HIV prevention care and treatment services for all people, including those living with HIV. It speaks to strengthening the resilience of all stakeholders to address matters of HIV, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. While COVID-19 has created new challenges, we remain committed to accelerating efforts in our fight to create and positively impact the lives of those we serve. We remain resolute in our efforts to keep HIV clients safe and close. We would like to commend the Jamaica AIDS Support for Life for ramping up its messaging through the With You All the Way campaign. The campaign continues to address the fear and misinformation, especially during this pandemic. The coordinated key messages on health, on gender-based violence, reduction, HIV prevention, and the constant encouragement to continue to stay healthy by adhering to medication and treatment services are welcome. USAID's partnership with JASL also allows us to provide close to 2,000 care packages to vulnerable populations and HIV program beneficiaries in a bid to reduce the negative impact of COVID-19 on patients' nutrition. In addition, our partnership has strengthened and expanded the capacity of local NGOs to consistently deliver HIV services by providing more than 50 laptops and mobile phones combined in a world that has been forced to be isolated as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. So as you can see, we continue to be resilient in finding ways to meet the client's needs during these unprecedented times. Now more than ever, we must thank, honor, and respect the healthcare workers who serve the people living with and affected by HIV. We could never have done anything without all of you going over and above the call of duty. Today, on this World AIDS Day, let us celebrate the achievement and progress made over the years. However, let us re-energize ourselves to do more, to once and for all put an end to this epidemic. Today, let us stand in solidarity with the millions of people all over the world living with HIV, and in these unusual times, let us not forget to appreciate those who serve. Thank you.
For all those who are living with HIV, and for those who have lost someone to HIV, just remember that there is someone that's willing to carry you. Show me where you bleed. I'll walk all the way to the city if that's what you need. Won't have to say how far I'll go. All I can do is just show you. Don't worry, I'll carry you on my shoulder. I will be a soldier, and no one treat you wrong. Stay calm. I'll be a storm, I'll blow them over. Let me wash your feet. No, you won't be dirty. I'll bear the wrath of the breeze. Won't have to say how far I'll go. All I can do is just show you. Don't worry, I'll carry you on my shoulder. I will be a soldier. No one will treat you wrong. Stay calm. Be a storm, I'll blow them over. Carry you. I'll carry you, I'll carry you. I'll carry you, carry you. 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 And no one will treat you wrong. Stay calm. I'll be a storm, I'll blow them over. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh, ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Raquel Stevenson. You know, if I was in the auditorium down there, she wouldn't have gotten that little lukewarm applause. So let's do this again. Let's give it up for Raquel Stevenson. Thank you so much, Raquel. Now, Jamaica AIDS Support for Life continues to be dedicated to the business of the people. At this moment, we introduce Mrs. Candace Livermore to take us through the year that was. I want to hear about this year, because it's a serious year, Candace.
virtually. On behalf of our board of directors, management, and staff, I want to express our sincere gratitude to each and every one of you for choosing to share with us via the different platforms, whether you're on Zoom, you're on Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook. Mara said she wanted to hear about 2020 is the year that has asked, rather demanded, a different approach to realizing all our plans. Whether those plans were for personal reasons, as institutions, nationally and globally, we had to find another way. My task this evening is to present the JASL year in review. Guests, I must tell you that I am honored to deliver this presentation, as despite the challenges brought on by COVID-19, JASL remained focused, committed, and as militant as ever to live up to its mission of being a world-class leader, creating and utilizing best practices in the delivery of services to persons living with HIV, and participating in the fight against the spread of HIV and AIDS in Jamaica. As Jamaica's longest serving and largest HIV and AIDS human rights NGO, our efforts span the entire continuum of HIV prevention, treatment, care, support, and ensuring an environment that affirms human rights and enabling for all. We continue to work with our 3 chapters in Kingston, St. Anne, and St. James. COVID-19 was a real challenge, and as a CSO that works in securing the health citizens of Jamaica, we are considered an essential service provider. Our response was swift. We went right into it. On the onset of COVID-19, well, before March, when Jamaica had its first case, our medical director said, Mrs. Livermore, it is not going to be a matter of how and if COVID is coming to Jamaica. We have to plan for when it gets here. And as such, we sprang into action and designed our own infection prevention and protection protocol, which ensured it would have observed all the measures outlined by the government of Jamaica. And of course, safety was at the helm. We wanted to ensure safety of staff and our beneficiaries while maintaining access to all JASL services. All our programs were affected, I must tell you. However, we did not have the kind of fall-off that could have happened had we not been prepared. Our prevention program, the team sprang into quick action. Because of the measures, we were unable to do community interventions. We had to observe all of the curfews, so we couldn't be out at night. And so we switched gears. We went to appointment-based testing. We went into the virtual space. We had to reinvent ourselves. And so, JASA provided PPEs, personal protective equipment, and we set up a system for persons to make appointments. The team was now able to go out and do individual testing. We met people every and anywhere. So once persons could not physically come into our space, the team went to them. We did link-ups at homes, at workplaces, in car parks, parking lots, and just common areas where people signaled to us that they were willing to go. Late in the year, with the support of EPIC, a USAID program, we were also able to launch a website that facilitated appointments for HIV testing. Notwithstanding all of this, I'm pleased to tell you that we were still able to deliver over 40,000 condoms. We were able to conduct 5,373 HIV and syphilis tests. Of that, 3,050 were among key populations. We were able to identify 89 positives and link them to care. 13 clients received certified skills training to reduce their vulnerabilities. 15 persons enrolled in our life skills opportunities. And of course, the highlight for our prevention program was the implementation of the PrEP pilot, pre-exposure prophylaxis pilot, in partnership with the Ministry of Health. And subsequently, we have rolled out the program. Through this pilot, we were able to introduce PrEP to 40 vulnerable men, and we have since added 19 men to PrEP, to the PrEP program. And if you know anything about PrEP, PrEP is world-class in terms of where the world is going to use treatment as a part of prevention. For treatment, it was difficult. As you know, our clients depend on the face-to-face contact. They love to be able to come into the space, have their support groups. We say at JASL we are family, and so it was difficult for us. But I tell you, the team at JASL, they are just exceptional. We scaled back our clinics to appointment only. We went into planning mode, and we had plans for our stable patients and our patients that were unsuppressed. We ramped up our multi-month scripting and dispensing. Our adherence counselors across the country, they were all over in pharmacies, ensuring that they filled prescriptions so persons would not have to be going monthly into pharmacies to fill their prescriptions. We established an ARV pick-up and drop-off, and so we were able to take medication to people in their homes or wherever they said was a good meeting point. But what was very good was the virtual meetings that we made happen. I tell you, these phones, we didn't know they could do so many things. And so, for example, our psychologists and adherence counselors and case managers, they set up virtual meeting spaces. So all our support groups moved online. All our treatment literacy workshops moved online. All our one-on-one counseling sessions moved online. So whether it was WhatsApp calling, Zoom, or through just telephone calls, persons were able to tap into the programs. We still were able to do home and hospital visits for those who needed us most. And in the year so far, we have done 373 clinic sessions. We have provided 2,903 instances of clinic attendance. We have done 1,481 sessions with our adherence counselor. We now have, I must tell you, every year the number goes up, 886 clients on the JASL register. These are persons that come in and access our treatment services. We also this year, and I will do the big ups after, but with USAID support, we have finally reorganized the space for the pharmacy, and it is a big thing we're looking forward to in 2021 when JASL will dispense its own medication. You know, having clients is one thing, but if you listen to Manuel earlier, keeping them in care and on antiretroviral drugs, that's what's most important. And so we have been able to retain 773 of these persons in a COVID year on antiretroviral drugs, and we are pleased. We're almost at the 90%. I know we used to hear in the 90%, but guys, it's a COVID year. We're at 87%. And the team, I know, they don't like to hear these things, you know. They are working so hard to ensure that all our clients not only get on medication, but stay on medication. Of this number, 516 of our clients are virally suppressed. 516. I need to look into this camera. Guys, I'm not used to it. And so, this is a year when the Ministry of Health will tell you we had significant challenges with viral load testing. Because again, COVID came in, and COVID was a real competition to the resources of the government of Jamaica. And so for us at this time to be saying we have 516 clients who are achieving optimal health, who are unable to transmit HIV, of the 886 that we have on register, it's a proud achievement. We are proud. COVID in and of itself required its own response. you know, yes, we prepared for the programs we had going, but please remember, one of our chapter is in St. Anne, another is in St. James. The population that we serve along this belt work in the tourism sector, which is the hardest hit sector. We had clients who lost their jobs, who had to resort to creative means for their livelihood. And the JASL did not just sit back and tell people to take their medication. I must tell you that the staff wrote 5 proposals, and all proposals for a COVID response was accepted and funded. We received support from USAID. We received support from MacAIDS funds all the way in New York and the Elton John AIDS Foundation. We received some help from the Ministry of Health through their Global Fund grant, and the UNDP Jamaica also provided assistance. And through this assistance, we were able to provide care packages for 992 direct beneficiaries. We are not counting their family members and children and all of that. The private sector also in this year came forward in a way that they haven't in a while. We were able to get support from CIBC, NCB, Digicel Foundation, the Development Bank of Jamaica, and of course, some key NGOs in Jamaica, Citizens Response Jamaica, Kiwanis, and the United Way. They all answered our call and provided assistance. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not only in the business of treatment and prevention, we are also in the business of ensuring that the people that we serve can also live and enjoy Jamaica in an environment that is enabling and their humans are affirmed. This year, whilst we were not able to do a lot of face-to-face trainings, we did go virtually, and we trained 82 police officers, 21 correction officers, and 28 healthcare workers in human rights sensitization, working with them to understand the vulnerabilities of the people that we serve and how best to treat with them when they presented themselves for services. We were also able to provide legal advice to 38 members of key populations. And currently, we have 54 cases that we are addressing, open cases that our legal team, they are looking into and trying to get redress for our clients. We did legal literacy. Last week, Thursday, we were able to launch our HIV and access to justice research that we would have been seeing all of this week in the media. We also had consultations with the regional health authorities regarding development of a code of conduct to improve the situation for persons in the healthcare setting. The theme of global solidarity, shared responsibility is very fitting for this World AIDS Day. JASL did not do it alone, and that alone shows you that the theme was applicable to us. We reached out to our partners in civil society, in government, in private sector, and they responded to us to say, we are in this together. And they not only spoke it, they spent it. It takes cash to care. We know that the COVID-19 pandemic has threatened to derail the gains we have made over the years. But you know, no, I didn't go to KC, but I hear them all the time. The brave may fall, but never yield. I see my director down there pushing up his hand. But whatever we do, we also do it to the best of our ability. I see the Woolmas people. And I also learned, for everything we do, we work and pray. That's Westwood. So despite these challenges, we saw where COVID-19 presented unique opportunities. And so solidarity for us means a unity, an agreement of feeling or action. And we felt that through the partnerships that we were able to enjoy in 2020. And I just want to pause in this moment to big up civil society. I mean, from Ashe, we are here today, for Life, Children First, JN Plus, J Flag, Trans Wave, all of civil society really pulled together to make sure that the people whom we serve were not left behind in 2020. But also, I want to, applaud the partnerships, especially of our donors. I must tell you, sometimes when we're navigating donor land space, it's very difficult. But for this year, I don't know what it was. They really listened to us. Some of the funding that, normally in straight jacket, they kind of put a tie with it and put in some white undershirt and, helped us to help the clients. And I must give a big shout out to USAID, to PEPFAR, to the Global Fund and the Ministry of Health. I must shout out our UN partners from UNDP to UNAIDS to UNICEF. Everyone really stood up. And there are some people who I always say, we need to go look for them, or we need to make sure they come here. Like the MacAIDS funds, right there in how many years we're saying that? They need to come here. And Elton John, they need to see what it is. Whenever we call, they respond. And I just want to big up those partners. The partners ensured that the services were uninterrupted, right? They ensured that there was a mitigation so we didn't have large loss to follow up of our clients. They ensured that normally they don't like see food in a grant, but we were able to provide care packages. We were able to provide sanitation packages. A big thing we were able to do this year at Jamaica Aid Support for Life was to send 175 children back to school. And so, they're the ones that make this theme come alive, because with civil society, government, and our international partners, despite all that we would have experienced this year, we are able to say solidarity in Jamaica for 2020 was not tokenistic. It wasn't just a lip service to say, we are with you. Oh Lord, we are with you all the way. Come through, Ashe. We were able to really be there with people this year, and COVID really presented this opportunity. And so in closing, I just want to say, just as we were 29 years ago, when we did not know what to do, the truth is it prepared us for 2020. This time around, we didn't just like, what is it that we're going to do? But truth be told, JASL started then, and we are here now, and COVID will not be daunting to us. This is solidarity. This is shared responsibility. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's hear it for the Executive Director of JASL, Mrs. Candace Livermore. Listen, I told you, the program said highlights. Never say low lights. Highlights. And how amazing, then suppose COVID never happened this year. When you hear all the things that were achieved. What you said, over 500 people suppressed. Come on, man. I want, in the JASL site alone, I want a round of applause for that one, please, and thanks. Because that is amazing. Oh, man. 2020. What a year. What a year. Pulled out the best. Pulled out the best in some of us. And innovation. Right now, there are people who are sharing in the Vigil that normally would not be able to do so, because they couldn't do it digitally, but now people are joining us from all over the world and all over Jamaica, and that is important. And so one of the things, and I noticed, communities make a difference. And that's where we're heading next on the program. We're going to be getting some testimonials from 2 communities, and then from a special person. I feel like I don't want to get to it yet until that time. A familiar face and friend and sister that we haven't seen physically in a long time is going to be sharing with us. So we're going to start with a testimonial from the Garden Parish of St. Anne, and then we're going to head on over to Montego Bay, ladies and gentlemen. Please, your attention to the screen.
Well, for me, the candle vigil is a good thing because we get a chance to remember people who will have passed on, and that's a time when we as village
All right,
together
as we said,
to show our support and love for each other.
all right, so we're going to
And
take her.
I
We're
think
going to take her again.
that's one of the times where I see most PLHIVs.
All right. You know how we never clap properly? I feel that. The spirit never feel we.
Well, for me, the candle vigil is a good thing because we get the chance to remember people who have passed on, and that's a time when we as Village IV come together to show our support and love for each other. And I think that's one of the times where I see most PLHIVs, because we know it's Candle Vigil and we come in and we share our views, and you know, we just talk about what we've been through throughout the year. It is great that you're doing it this way, and I appreciate doing it this way. Okay, well, everybody matures differently, so it takes time for you to get to where I am. And don't force yourself to do things that you're not ready to do, because in the long run, you might regret it. But take your baby steps until you can take big food, until you can do big things. So stay on your meds, exercise, adhere to your doctor's appointment, and even to your support group. I mean, going to your support group as well, that will help you with adherence to meds as well, because there you will learn how other people face challenges, how they deal with them and stuff like that. So adherence on a whole is basically like a house call. Everything comes under it. Well, JASL is a foundation for me, because after I found out I was HIV positive, I was kind of bouncing around until I came to JASL. When I come to JASL, I realized that there's hope. There's really hope, because I had one-on-one conversation with people who are positive, adherence counselor, with psychologists and stuff like that, and it gave me hope. And even when I thought it's time to end it, I didn't want to go no further. Well, these meds are getting to me. I think I'm taking this for too long and I'm not seeing anything better. Just the staff were at me night and day calling, did you take your medication? Just try for 1 more month. Let's see how it works. When I came here and I was told that I was virally suppressed. I mean, I walk and I tell everybody, people who don't even know what viral load was, I keep on saying, I'm virally suppressed. And I have to thank this person and I have to thank that person, yes, because I mean, I didn't know, all along I didn't know all of those stuff until I came to Jocelyn. I learned that my meds working now and I'm virally suppressed, and everything is just good. I was just overwhelmed.
Put your hands together for that testimonial from Belinda. What a powerful, powerful testimony. Being able to share that. You didn't bother care who hear it. I just want you to know that there's hope. Thank you so much, Belinda. Now we're going to hear a testimonial out of Montego Bay.
I've been diagnosed for the past 16 years. And I've been through very rough times. There are times when I would go to church and I would be so ashamed when I was in church. I found myself alone in the back bench, no one sitting next to me. I said that I stopped going to church. When I went on the bus, no one take fear from me. The doctor, the driver, the passengers looking down on me. in my community, my family, turned their back against me. I remember at a point where ambulance have come for me and my mother locked inside the house. I didn't know what happened. But when I woke up, I was in Corner Regional Hospital. I've been mistreated there. And then after coming home, it's like I'm coming home to nowhere. The same bad treatment at home. My family scorn me. They don't give me anything to eat. 4 or 5 days I don't eat nothing. And I remember one morning I went to Regional on my regular appointment today. And that's where I met my husband. And when he approached me, I was so ashamed, knowing that someone come to me and tell me that I'm HIV positive. From there on, he took me to Jassel. And when he took me to Jassel, that's where I realized I met my family. They are the one who motivate me. They never leave me. No matter what problems I have, what I've been going through, they will always be there for me. They are the one who kept me alive up till today. And I will never turn my back on Jassel. Thank you.
What a powerful testimony, ladies and gentlemen. And I think the most powerful thing is 16 years and she's still here. Still here. Still here. And Jassel, you heard the word, family. Family. Much, much more than just a space or a building or people. Family. People say, people forget the things you say. They'll forget the things you do, but they'll never forget how you make them feel. And when you make them feel like family, that's so much. Now we're boarding the plane. We're going overseas because...
Good afternoon, everyone,
yes.
Wherever you are. My name is Yvonne Artist Cunningham-Shaw, fondly known as Auntie Yvonne. I'm at work, as you all can see, and it is Sunday. I want to do this tribute for Leonard Officer, a dear friend and a dear brother. Also, jazz famous directory. There's not a person that wouldn't call and get a number. Even person from the Ministry of Health, Dr. Carr, Ian McKnight, Aston Cook, any one of us, Gareth Henry, Carleen, Simple, we could have called and asked him for any number within, not a health number only, but any number he could have found for us right off the back. He didn't have to search into a book, although he had his book. Christine English, she could have called him any time of the night or day, even in his sleep, and he would give us a number. We all miss Leonard. Leonard. Mr. Officer himself. As soon as you walk through the door, you'll be greeted by this bright, lovely smile. We will always remember that smile, Leonard. We miss you dearly. I miss you, my brother. I miss you, my friend. I miss you, my family. Walk good. Continue to walk good. Continue to sleep, Leonard, in the arms of your Maker. Namaste. And I'm coming from the Netherlands.
Thank you so much, Yvonne Artist Cunningham Shaw, for that tribute to Leonard. To Leonard. Leonard is unforgettable.
Thank you. Good evening. And I must say, because I'm not wearing my glasses, I'm there looking for the hands to be waved. So forgive me. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much to those in the audience and those joining us online. We certainly appreciate your continued support throughout the year. Mrs. Livermore spoke so articulately about how we have really managed to really demonstrate what global solidarity and shared responsibility means. So thanks again. The good thing about COVID is it has taught us the benefit of brevity. We know that we're online now, so we have to keep things brief. So while our guest speaker has a resume that is quite laudable, I won't be going through everything, and I will take the most interesting of things to talk about. So I am pleased and quite honored to be introducing our guest speaker, Reverend Leslie Mowat. And I must say, he hails from the parish of Portland, the beautiful parish, and he has been married for 40 years with his wife and counting, Miss Maureen. So Miss Maureen, thank you so much for lending us the husband for the evening. He has 3 children and 4 granddaughters, and he lives for his grands. Now, we are going to be blessed in short order, I'm sure, because the work of the Reverend echoes the essence of service, dedication, faithfulness to the work of God. He has been serving the ministry for close to 2 decades, and he's currently the priest to the St. Mary the Virgin Church, and we're thankful for having him. But what is interesting about what I'm seeing on the Reverend's resume is not that he's the Reverend. We're aware of that. But it's how he's called, Steady Rev. Steady Rev. That's what I'm seeing here. And what is interesting about Steady Rev now is that he served with Byron Lees and the Dragonaires. He also was with the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. So, you know, he's a lover of music. So, you know, I don't know if he's going to give us a little something in the night, but certainly we are looking forward to that. I don't know if the Reverend has the Samsung, the Huawei Mate, or if it is the iPhone 12 Pro, but he likes taking pictures. Up to 150 per day. I don't know what we're going to be getting tonight, but this is a very interesting resume, as I said earlier. So this is an interesting man we have that we're going to be listening to in short order. Again, Reverend, thank you so much for being here with us. As I said, I was going to be brief, but I hope the interesting points of his resume stuck with us, and we are anticipating what is going to be said. But again, we do look forward to hearing from you. And thank you, and we welcome you to join us.
I am grateful that you have invited me to speak on World AIDS Day. Not the first time I've been associated with Jocelyn. I'm just happy to be back with you once again. World AIDS Day 2020, December 1. Theme, you already know, is Global Solidarity, Shared Responsibility. But a look back at recent theme gives me an interesting perspective. 2016, Hands Up for HIV Prevention. 2017, My Health, My Right. 2018, Know Your Status. 2019, Communities Make the Difference. And then to come back to this year, Global Solidarity, Shared Responsibility. To me, that speaks concerning personal awareness and responsibility, coupled with community support. And that seems to me to be a reasonable paradigm for moving the HIV/AIDS agenda forward. Embracing this as a perspective can go a far way to achieve the goals for eliminating HIV. World AIDS Day remains as relevant today as it has always been. reminding people and governments that HIV has not gone away. There is still a critical need for increased funding for the AIDS response, to increase awareness of the impact of HIV on people's lives, and need to end stigma and discrimination, and to improve the quality of life of people living with HIV. Can I tell you that I'm quoting directly from UNAIDS here? A useful way to compare the COVID-19 pandemic with the older HIV one is this way. The HIV AIDS pandemic is that slow, stately move around the sun that the earth makes. Once a year, 4 seasons, 12 months, 52 weeks. The COVID-19 is the 28th cycle that the moon makes around the year. It's a busy and frenzied cycle. And because it shares the same stigmas, the same governments, the same communities, the same inequities, we get a quicker look at the cycle of events. Some countries are already on their third wave, their third cycle or go round of COVID-19. And lessons are being learned at this heightening pace. This crisis, this frenzied pace has become a wake-up call, an opportunity to do things differently, do things better, do things together. In many respects, the defeat of AIDS as a public health threat could depend on how the world finally responds to COVID-19. In as much as COVID-19 had overshadowed the AIDS pandemic, we do note that some important lessons are being learned, and that with care, we can utilize aspects of the COVID-19 response to improve HIV response and awareness. Since you have invited a religious, I believe that you're expecting some insight from a Christian or biblical perspective. And if this is so, I wouldn't want to disappoint you. I did some homework, a little research, and came away shocked. In a sense, upset on learning that stigma is the main deterrent and source of frustration for battling and overcoming the effects of the AIDS epidemic. As I looked at the 7 types of stigma identified across a range of psychosocial situations, I came to realize that stigma and its associates, prejudice and discrimination, are deeply ingrained responses that are applied outside of logic and wisdom. And you know something? Where it surfaces can surprise you. For the record, the 7 types of stigma are public stigma, self-stigma, perceived stigma, label avoidance, stigma by association, structural stigma, and health industry personnel stigma. All of these manifestations of stigma are experienced in real time in this COVID-19 pandemic. Let us not forget that persons were beaten for sneezing and involuntarily act. Fear and paranoia brings out the worst in us. Where they find common ground, the excesses are very dangerous. To return to the global AIDS response, at a time when untraceable equals untransmittable, that this is a reality already, it is strange, to me anyway, that there's no obvious reintegration mechanism for the persons who could overcome the HIV/AIDS scenario. Right here, Such a mechanism or protocol could provide a rallying point against the stigma people living with HIV face. It could become a powerful incentive to reach for a goal to achieve. This is one crucial difference with COVID-19. Governments want us to get back to work. So there are tests and procedures for reintegration for those who have caught and overcome the COVID-19 virus. The reintegration is sponsored because it is deemed vital. The HIV scenario still has gender bias and sexuality and dominance issues that drive the stigma, and after 40 years, they remain well entrenched globally. What does Scripture have to offer here? Both Old and New Testaments recognize a variety of diseases that initially demand isolation and removal from communal life. Numbers 12 points to a situation where Miriam, the sister of Moses, was punished with a skin disease and was out of camp in isolation for 10 days. Even here, there was a clear return to community. And you see all those pastors and preachers who are proclaiming judgment for people who have COVID-19 and living with HIV, I am looking at you. Guess what? Miriam was not cast into outer darkness for weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth. Israel camped and waited for her. Just a biblical reminder that it always helps to have a celebrity or a power person build empathy for your cause. The reintegration mechanism was well defined. The priests were trained and were the ones assigned the inspection of the suffering person. Once satisfied of their rehabilitation, they offered the necessary sacrifice and were fully reintegrated into family and community. In the Gospels, where Jesus was remarkably open to transformative action on people's behalf, his advice to cure lepers to show yourselves to the priest and offer the sacrifices Moses commanded leverages this generations-old schema for returning the renewed back to community. Jesus did not subvert the process. He co-opted the process for the validation that it offered. The process is critical. We know that. In real life, more than a few persons doing well on their regime fall away and do not return for medication and help. The validation process is aborted by some triggered fear, and more than a few will end up dead, end up losing their lives. A lesson here is that education doesn't always defeat prejudice. In fact, it can provide seemingly plausible justification for discrimination. This is why discreet access to health care for people living with HIV/AIDS is a necessity. Thank God for JASL. The label avoidance stigma is the most insidious of the seven. It is the one that keeps the infected person from seeking help in your community or elsewhere. They know full well that bush have ears, and if you are seen in Moko or Portland or Mandeville at a clinic, the rumor mill will grind and your issues will be publicized. They keep quiet. and they die quieter still. I have seen it up close, and it hurts my heart every time I am faced with it. Let me say it again. Thank God for Jassel. Sadly, these days in church or hospital, you are as likely to hear a pastor condemn the sick and declare God's judgment rather than provide access to care and counseling. And in hospitals, one sometimes has to deal with health professionals whose personal biases become stumbling blocks to personal health care services. There are people who share unethically the details of their patients, furthering stigma and discrimination. You know that this is very well documented. If the church would follow its Lord's instructions, if it would extend itself to speak for the voiceless. Someone came to Jesus for healing and the discussion began. Lord, if you choose, you can make me whole. Jesus said, I do choose. If our churches would follow Jesus and choose to facilitate health and wholeness, quite a lot could change. Church could stand with or stand up for the sick, especially people living with HIV/AIDS. It could do a lot to counter stigma, to counter the whispered innuendos that is stigma by association. Stigma by association is the one that kills community source for the needy. It's the one that ties you to the presumed sexual preferences and activities of the persons you are inclined to help. But when people begin to talk, you're going to read all that baggage and all that stuff. And so you just step back into the shadows, and help that could have been given doesn't happen. Church could build support for members and persons who are HIV positive. But who would dare share their status with the brothers or sisters in church? Very few keep secrets. Fewer still exhibit compassion. We need radical Christianity of the leave all and follow Jesus variety. Returning to the bigger stage, the theme global solidarity shares responsibility, invites us to revisit our relationships and the activities they engender. Global solidarity invites us to explore the global response and align ourselves with projects and activities that we as church are able to support. There are a plethora of them and myriad best practices scenarios waiting for our implementation. One important feature of World's Aid Day is the memorialization of the dead. Given the early stigma and circumstances of dying, many persons still have not been properly remembered, and closure is still eluding some families who have lost loved ones to HIV/AIDS. The opportunity to come out and to name them and remember them is hugely therapeutic. This is something that the church does well. Catholicism provides a liturgy on All Saints' Day, November 1, exactly a month ago, for the memorialization of our dead. We do it systematically, and we know the benefits of it. We light the votive candle. We pray for those we love. And we ask God in His love and mercy to deal kindly with them. There is a ministry here for churches. There is a place where we can quietly exercise the gift of presence, just like in grief counseling, and to be there, just be there for those who need us. There is a place for a prophetic voice that can stop the slander and innuendo by its forthright affirmation of the person living with HIV as a full and complete human being bearing the image of God. Even in death, stigma continues, and the cause of death for the death certificate can be problematic for more than a few family members. I'm a pastor. I know them things. Stigma. To remove stigma is to open up the resources freely and fully for those who need it. This day must come sooner rather than later. These are difficult times, make no mistake, but we can make a difference if we try a little harder. Shared responsibility brings us back to Genesis and Cain's question. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes. Yes, we are. God requires an answer of each of us. We are social creatures. We need each other, the fullness of our living. We will need to develop more programs that bring real benefits to people living with HIV. My word of encouragement for people living with HIV/AIDS is simple. Keep the faith. HIV is no longer a death sentence. Serious progress has been made, and you can access a good life right here, right now. Your life is precious. Don't throw it away. Do not let pride or shame rob you of health and family, joy and accomplishments. Still dream. Most things are still possible if you believe and persevere. Do the right things for yourself. There is no legal recourse to some forms of discrimination. Fight your battles for your life and find support for your cause along the way. Life is precious. Don't give up. Fight. 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 With discipline and determination, the way things are going, you might actually outlive some of your detractors. Here I want to quote and close with Minister of State in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Juliet Cuthbert Flynn. Whether as funding partners, technical informants for policy design and program implementation, or as medical workers serving people living with HIV and AIDS at the community level, we need to have all hands on deck. The Observer, November 20. I endorse all hands on deck. The world can and must do better regarding the AIDS pandemic. We must remove the strictures and structures that maintain stigma and discrimination in all its forms. I endorse all hands on deck and hope to see church and state join together to do the right thing for significant numbers of our citizens who need our help. I endorse all hands on deck to design and build reintegration protocols and mechanisms for those on the margins right now. They don't need to be there. I endorse all hands on deck. If these hands are tender, loving hands, desiring to nurture and to care for those in need. We have had enough of the finger-pointing, sleight-of-hand deception. I'm just saying. I endorse all hands on deck in a response from governments, NGOs, and communities acting globally and locally. It is my hope that solidarity will facilitate the crafting of an accelerated response with a view to end living with HIV/AIDS sometime soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend, for that very powerful message. All hands on deck. And the way most Jamaicans view the church as a place of comfort, as a place for support. We heard in one of the testimonials that when she ran to the church, it never happened. And now, you know, we must encourage all faith-based organizations to be that place that they can run to and get support. You also said something very significant to me, and we're heading there now, because today is a day not just of celebrating and recognizing and uniting, it's a day of reflection. And we're going to take a moment to pause and honor the lives of those who have brought us here, our loved ones, who will always be the reason we continue this fight. And if you're watching and you are listening to some of the things that Rev said, if you had a family member and now you think about it, and with all that I guess you never knew about HIV and AIDS, all the knowledge you never had, all the stigma and discrimination that you might have meted out to them, now is a moment for you to just remember them. And in your hearts, you know, find that place to say, I remember you, I love you. If I wronged you, I'm sorry, as we reflect on that. And for those who want to remember, we encourage a new generation to be innovators and change agents towards a renewed future. So I'm going to ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to stand with me. And if you're watching, if you're able to, please stand. If you can't, just bow your heads where you are. And we're going to take 2 minutes to honor the lives of our loved ones who brought us here. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Kimali, Diamond, Clifford, Sean, Dalton. Communities make a difference. And Delia, when you said the all hands on deck, I was just looking up at that. Communities really do make a difference. It's now time for the quilt ceremony. Will you remember me? It was love and devotion that began the quilt project. It is, in its simplest form, a memorial created for those who have died of HIV. In reality, every single time a name is added, it was a powerful visual reminder of the AIDS pandemic. For us, this is one of the many ways we pay respect to the lives of the many, many people who have transitioned from this life as a result of AIDS complications. Many of them are near and dear to us as an organization, and that's the Jamaica AIDS Support for Life. Many are near and dear to their family members. Many were deserted by their family members and are only etched in the memory of Jassel. Our quilts try in their own small way to immortalize their lives. Without memories, we wouldn't be anyone. Even emotional memory or recollection that are based on feelings is fundamental for understanding who we are. We will remember you. Ashe.
Every year, we take some time to celebrate the lives of those no longer with us. We celebrate who they are. We celebrate their strengths, the joy, the laughter. This year, we want to remember the things that made us smile when they were around. We let their names resonate in our hearts and in our lives. For many years, we have called their names out loud. Tonight, their names have been projected on the screens as they are etched on the screen of our souls. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Jah, and the Word was Jah. In the beginning, Jah created the heaven and the earth. Then he created man of his own likeness and image, gave unto man wisdom, knowledge, overstanding.
Jah is my life and my strength, so whom shall I fear? He is a shield upon my right hand and my left hand, so whom shall I be afraid?
Jah is my
Jah is my light and my salvation, so whom shall I fear? He is my guide throughout this creation, so whom shall I be afraid?
Jah is my
Jah is my guide in my resting and rising, so whom shall I be afraid? He
my guide when I step out and forward in. So whom shall I be afraid?
Shines my King. Shines my guide when Philistines come down upon I. So who shall I fear? He is my guide when my enemies come to devour I. So who shall I be afraid? Jah is my keeper. Jah is my keeper. Jah is my
These are the quilts on which were inscribed the names of our loved ones. Baby quilt, the sun quilt, Jamaican map, red ribbon, the shells. To respect life we must read between the lines. Into the light, tree, the mask, the tile, Star Hall. Life is a journey. Getting to zero 2011, 2012, 2013. The quilt 2014. The quilt 2015. The quilt 2016. The quilt 2017. The quilt 2018. The quilt 2019.
There's a hole in the sun, and it's cold around my heart, and there are many people crying. From the highest of heights, fear is flooding my world. Still there are many people trying
to find a place where love can heal all the fears we feel.
Climbing higher, reaching out from within, and the love that we're giving is real, so real. Standing sound on higher ground, when I call, won't you answer me too? When I call, won't you answer me too? With every step that we take, somewhere another one falls, and somewhere there's someone hurting. Maybe the firelight can bring warmth to your heart, so I'll keep my love light burning. To find a place where love can heal all the fears we feel. Oh, there's a place called love. Help your eyes above.
one telling me I need permission to come around. I'll be on my way. It's my duty to lend a helping hand.
Can I see my brothers and sisters struggling and not do anything to ease their suffering? We need to show them that we care.
So climb me higher.
Some of us are here because someone very dear and close to our hearts is being remembered or celebrated today. For some of us, these persons were the light of our world and the life of the party. Their contributions helped to lift us up, and so we carry on with them as a blessed part of our memory.
Said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we'll have them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the woods. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
It one may be that we may never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say before we part, so much of me is made of what I've learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart, and now whatever way our stories end, you know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. Like a ship blown
better. And because I knew you,
because I knew you, I have been changed for
When loved ones depart, it can be very painful. But in order to carry on, it is best that we don't live in the hurt and pain. We can always remember that although they are missed, they are not missing.
oh yes, hey, 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 hey. Some bright morning when this life is over, oh yes Lord, oh, to a land where joy will never end. Fly away, fly away, oh when I die, hallelujah, by the river someday, meet me by the river, not far away. Oh, when my Lord shall call me home, I'll be happy on the other side. Meet me by the river someday. I'm gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, study one no more. I ain't gonna study one no more, study one no more. I ain't gonna 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 study one no more. Some sweet day, I'm going away. I wanna leave this world, no more to roam. Some sweet day when life is over. Some sweet day, I'm going away. Some sweet day, I'm going away. I wanna leave this world, no more to roam. Some sweet day, when life is over. Some sweet day, I'm going away. I'll fly, oh, fly away, oh Lord, I feel like singing that one more time. Come on, say. When I die,
These names are more than names. They are life energies that can never be quenched. They are not just names on a screen or called out loud in our hearts. They are the completion of a circle that we are all a part of. They are the joy in the song. They are the spirit of the dance. And although they may not be physically here in our midst, we feel their presence and know They stand with us, so we live on and on and on.
I wanna leave my footprints on the sand of time and know that something that I left behind. When I leave this world, I leave no regrets, but something to remember so they won't forget. I was here, I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, I done everything that I wanted, and it was more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here. I wanna say I lived each day until I die, and know that I met something in somebody's life. The hearts that I've touched will be the proof that I leave, that I made a difference, so this world can see I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, I've done everything that I wanted, and it was more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, I've done everything that I wanted, and it was more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here. I was here. I was here. Your love is bright as ever, bright as ever. Baby, love me lights out in the darkest night, the darkest night. I'll search through the crowd, search through the your face is all that I see. I give you everything. Baby, love me lights out. Baby, love me lights out. You can turn my lights out. I love you like EXO. You love me like EXO. You give me more EXO. I love you more EXO. Baby, all that I see, I give you everything. Baby, love me lights out. Baby, love me lights out. Oh. Nobody sees what we see. They're just hopelessly gazing. Oh, you better take me before they turn the lights out, before the time is run out. Baby, love me lights out. You love me like EXO. I love you like EXO. You give me more EXO. I love you like EXO. Baby, all that I see, I'll give you everything. Baby, love me lights out. Baby, love me lights out. Oh, in the darkest night, I search through the crowd. Your face is all that I see. I give you everything. Baby, love me lights out. Baby, love me lights out. You turn the lights out. You love me like EXO. I love you like EXO. You kill me, boy, EXO. I love you like EXO. Baby, all that I see, I'll give you everything. Baby, love me lights out. Baby, love me lights out. You can turn my lights out. Baby, love me lights
Are you feeling the energy in this room this evening? And are you feeling the energy where you are joining us from all over, all across Jamaica? I know you are. I know you are. Thank you so much, Ashe. Thank you so much. You know, I don't mind it, Conroy. He can keep going. We're heading into the candle lighting ceremony, ladies and gentlemen. And as I asked earlier, everyone, wherever you are, get your candles, get ready, because this is another special moment for us here. Life is a journey. Every journey has a beginning and an end. We're travelers in this journey of life. Our thoughts direct ways in the journey. This journey is full of obstacles, but we need to face it happily because this journey has great value. We're born here to experience the and thank you so much. And that's funny because I was about to say this journey equally consists of the positives and the negatives, right? But it teaches us to move forward and to fulfill our dreams. Life's a journey, an unavoidable journey. And it doesn't matter which way we want to go, the way we travel, and the path we choose, it leads us to our destiny. And I want to thank Neptune Barman for those words, reminding us about the importance of life and this journey. And so tonight we light a candle, pleading the continued journey of life from the eternal source. There is abundance for all. We call on all our partners and advocates to light a candle, symbolically offering hope to those who still trod this journey. And now I want to call on our board vice chairperson, Mr. Gervais McLeod, to light the main candle. This candle represents our beginnings. We reflect on how we came to be. Representing the community of persons living with HIV, this candle represents our reason for being our body of work, and our commitment to all persons affected by HIV. Joan, beautiful Joan, from JN Plus will light this candle. Thank you, Joan. And you know, partnership is essential to us. Our journey was made possible due to partnership, and this has also led to long-lasting friendships. As we continue in this fight, only true friendship and partnership towards this common goal will end the AIDS epidemic once and for all. And so, representing our international partners, I invite Miss Althea Spence from the USAID. There you go. Thank you, Althea. And representing our local partners, man, Jamaica has some of the best civil society organizations in the world. And Joy Crawford is here from Eve for Life. Thank you. Thank you. We're asking everyone in the audience, wherever you are, those who are joining us virtually, light your candles this evening. We can't be together, but we are asking you all in your space to light your candle with us. Ashe will once again bless us with voices.
And as far as I'm concerned, glad I got the chance to say that I do believe I love you. Oh, and if I should ever go away, well then close your eyes and try to feel the way we do today. And then if you can remember, keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for. In good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for.
Well, you came and opened me, and now there's so much more I see. And so, by the way, I thank you.
Oh, when then, for the times when we're apart, will you close your eyes and know these words are coming from my heart? And then if you can remember,
keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for. In good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for.
have friends in good times, in bad times, knowing you can always count on a friend, and that's what Jassel is, a good friend. Thank you so much, Ashe. And now we invite the Vice Chair, Mr. Gervais McLeod, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, thank you very much, thank you very much. It's a good night that is coming to an end. And on behalf of the Board of Directors, the Executive Director, and all the members of the Jamaica AIDS Support for Life, we want to thank all persons in this audience here and on the wider audience watching us and sharing with us for a wonderful virtual ceremony as we share this candlelight vigil. I have a long speech, but I'll leave everything out. It's approaching our curfew hour, so we got to get out and get home. But ladies and gentlemen, let us give thanks to our partners who have been with us as strong support through the year. Let us thank all our well-wishers, our benefactors. Let us thank all the persons all members of civil society who together have been working in order to bring this AIDS pandemic under control. We want to thank Ashe. No function like this is ever complete without the performance of Ashe. And thanks to Ashe, that's what friends are for. So ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Executive Director, the Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Jamaica AIDS Support for Life, and on behalf of all of you who have been here, those who we are here to serve, we want to thank you. And we pray that God will continue to guide us and keep us. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you very much, Mr. McLeod. And thanks to everyone who's been here this evening. On behalf of myself and Dara, a pleasure to be here. Ashe will take us out. Thank you.
Never thought I'd feel this way. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm glad I got the chance to say that I do believe I love you. Oh, yes, I should ever go away. Well, then close your eyes and try to feel the way we do today. And then if you can remember, keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for. In good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for.
Well, you came and opened me, and now there's so much more I see. And so, by the way, I thank you.
Oh, and then for the times when we're apart, will you close your eyes and know these words are coming from my heart? And then if you can remember,
Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for.